I think happy days are here again. Am I right? This market has really moved up, and purely because of, I think, one big uncertainty that market was factoring what will happen in the general election. Will BJP come back? If not BJP, who will form the government? Now, we are still 4 5 months away from the general election, but right now market seems to started believing that BJP should not get much of a problem forming the general election. Now, I keep saying that in election, 4 5 months is a too long a period. In 2019 general election, BJP did not do well, whether it was in Chhattisgarh, whether it was in Rajasthan, whether it was in Madhya Pradesh. In fact, Madhya Pradesh, they formed the government after Scindia quit Congress and formed and joined BJP. And yet in 2014 general election, BJP got more seats than what they got in 2019. And I think we need to, I'm not saying BJP will not form the government in 2024. I'm just saying we need to look at the data in a dispassionate manner. But before I begin my small presentation, let's put a disclaimer that this webinar is only to enhance your understanding about the equity market. Please consult your financial advisor before buying or selling any stock. Investment securities are subject to market risk, and past performance is no indicator of future returns. Now, if you remember, somewhere in mid-September, 12th September, market was in a panicking mode. And the reason I'm putting this slide just to make you understand that how, as an investor, we are all victims of recency bias. We start believing what has worked in the recent past is going to work going forward, and vice versa. And 12th September market cracked very substantially, if you remember. And I came in front of you and I told you that risk reward is very much, we don't see any reason why small cap and mid cap should underperform. In that same webinar, I did say that we continue to believe that mid and small cap should outperform large cap. But that was a fear, and almost 3 months down the line, now when I look at the data, you look at the delta or the alpha between Sensex and Nifty and mid and small cap. BSE small cap is up by 11%, BSE mid cap 9%, Nifty 50 4%, and Sensex 3%. And that's the kind of gain that we have seen in this. And one thing I've always realized in life, if you don't take risk, you will never get rewarded in life. And at that point of time also said, if you have money, please go ahead and put the money and you should be fine. But problem happens that we all become experts when the market goes down. We start believing that, and then we have a justification why market will go down. And that's not the way it works. In the month of November, the mid and small cap index were more than almost 9% up. But in the month of October, there was some kind of a confidence crisis. And I keep saying that do not be victims of recency bias. The moment you bring in your recency bias in your investment decision, you're bound to make mistakes. जो सेक्टर चला है उसको ले लो, जो सेक्टर नहीं चला है उसको बेच दो, जो कंपनी चल रही है उसको ले लो. What would happen? You will always get into a script or a sector at the top of the price, and because of that, your overall returns from that equity or assets class will not be that great. And this data point clearly suggests very clearly. And I always as I told you, I always go by the data. Data कभी झूठ नहीं बोलता है. Sometimes data can, the outcome can delay. It's not a perfect science, am I right? But data आपको एक सही राह दिखाता है. It takes you in the right direction, provided you analyze the data in a very proper manner. The challenge comes, how do you analyze the data? If you don't analyze the data in a proper manner, then of course you will move in a wrong direction. And at that point of time, we came in front of you and said, boss, don't worry. Remain calm, and if you want, you can watch that video of I've said of 12th September 2023. Very clear cut बताया था. And that time, one leading broking house came out with a research report saying that mid and small cap में बहुत बड़ी मंदी आने वाली है. But data is in front of you. If you look at the spread in the market, that is advanced decline in BSE 500, 2.1:1. In other words, 339 stocks advance and only 162 decline since then. Again, this rally has been more broad-based. It's not a narrow-based rally. And that's another proof of that. Now come a very interesting data point I want everyone to tell you, that exit poll. Now what does this indicate and what happened to the reality? So what you see, this exit poll and actual, I think India today was very close because they said 142 to 162 and 60 to 90, 162 to 60 was very close. And News 24 Chanakya, 151 plus 12, 74 plus or minus 12. I think they were very accurate. When it come to Rajasthan, I think Times Now was in a very close, but not India Today or News 24 Chanakya. They were two of the mark, both this. The point I wish to limited poll, point I wish to say, some exit poll would be right some point of time. Not all exit poll would be right at the same time. Like India Today got it right for Madhya Pradesh, but not for Rajasthan. Same way, if you look at Chhattisgarh, okay, I think the one which has come very close, I think everyone got it right as far as the Telangana is concerned. So there was no kind of a challenge. But if you look at it, Chhattisgarh, everyone went wrong. Everyone. Because no one has predicted the 35 seats. किसका lower range में भी नहीं था 35 कांग्रेस के लिए, और किसकी का 54 नहीं था upper range में बीजेपी के लिए. So there are two extremes. Telangana, everyone seems to have gone right, while in Chhattisgarh, everyone went wrong. While in Rajasthan and MP, the reason I'm saying this data not because I want to make you understand that sometimes we all take decision based on exit poll and so on and so forth. We should not. Now the question comes, the market is in a smart rally. Post-election result, that is Monday and Tuesday. Now the question comes, yeah, कि ये तेजी चलने वाली है कि और? Because that's a query that you would have in your mind, am I right? Because has the fundamental story changed in India's economy? The answer is no. There is nothing which has undergone change in the India story. What has changed is the sentiment. What is the sentiment is that, number one, that the uncertainty relating to the politics should now a bit. Very likelihood that BJP may continue to rule the country for next 5 years. That is from 2024 to 2029. That's what the market has been really excited. And if that is so, there is no change. Then in other words, whatever the reforms that government was doing, is doing. So there is no change that basically should, then the market becomes a function of fundamentals and the liquidity. And these are two factors which will play out. Very surely, a lot of institutional investors will go on leave. And if they go on leave, the volume will take a beating. My sense is that whatever the market has gained in Monday and Tuesday, I think we should expect some amount of profit booking. So that's definitely going to happen, whether we like it or not. There's one more thing which is happening in the market, which not many people have realized, but if you look at this, the tone is changing. some of the stocks that did extremely well, they keep moving up without any fundamental reason to move up. There is a strong possibility we could see a profit booking happening. And that's, I'm not only talking about small and mid cap, that can also happen with the large caps. Number two, the stocks which has been laggard, I think they would find a place in the investor's portfolio. In other words, we could see a change in terms of the stock preference. And I think that's going to play out significantly. Number two, we all know that Bitcoin is trading at highest level since April 2022 level. Gold prices have touched all-time high. Indian equity market indices are at all-time high. The Russell 2000, which is a small cap index in the US, is doing better right now as compared to the Magnificent 7 or the large caps. What does this data point suggest? And if you connect the dots, it clearly tells us that the risk-on strategy is very much on. And one of the reasons why risk-on strategy is on, purely because somewhere market has budgeted in their prediction that interest cut will happen. In fact, today Bank Nifty did extremely well. And when I spoke to someone, he said, market is believing that RBI, which is going to come out with this MPC in next couple of days, will cut the rate of interest. Now, these are the things which are built in the assumption for the market to move up. So I think people are willing to take more risk. Risk-on strategy is very much on. It has a plus and the negative side. Let me first tell me what is the positive side. What is the plus side? Plus side is very clear-cut. That this market, stocks will keep moving up, indices will keep moving up, whether we like it or not. The negative side is that you need to be extremely careful. Why? Because this market is going to churn in terms of stock selection. It could be market cap selection and the sector selection. And that could impact the performance of what you do. Somewhere, some of the stocks that are moving up without any logical reasoning. And that's where I think one has to be extra careful. And my request to all of you is that be careful of what you are buying in your portfolio. Look at the fundamental story. Don't decide because this company has gone up by 20-30% in last 1 month or so, वो आगे जाके भी चलने वाली है. Don't be victim of recency bias. और सेक्टर चलने लगा है तो let me get into that. Because that will prove to be very, very detrimental in terms of the performance. So my request to all of you, closely relook at your portfolio. Look at what has worked, why it has worked. Look at what has not worked, why it has not worked. And then take a call. While risk-on strategies come, it does pose a challenge to every one of us. Look at Adani Group stocks. In last couple of days, they moved up substantially. And the same group which came under heavy selling pressure. So, as I told you, stock selection are going to be different, sector preferences are going to be different, and market cap preferences could be different. And that's where we need to be very, very nimble-footed. If you are not, probability that you may underperform for a longer period of time is very, very high. So, and I do expect, so even though market seems to have budgeted or factored in that बीजेपी का कोई solution नहीं है May 2024 तक. But market, till the event is not done, it's not done. Am I right? Till the event is not over, it's not over. And it will keep creating some amount of a nervousness in the market, whether we like it or not. And that's what is going to happen. Because when the event gets over, then market will say sigh of relief. Haas, हो गया. But जब तक नहीं हो रहा है वो event, which is still there, I think it will keep market little volatile. With this, let's open the floor for question answer. Usman is saying, appreciate your forecast on Nifty in 2020. You are very positive in mid and small caps. Then large cap PMS also follow. But when I tried to create a new model portfolio aggressive, 9 stocks are from large caps, only 1 stock from mid cap. The no small cap. Can you provide very aggressive model portfolio, not less than 50% mid and small cap? Usman ji, we also look at the stocks. When we construct the portfolio, we look at in model portfolio, which are the stocks which can move up. So, while I do understand, while I agree with your concerns that you need mid and small cap in portfolio, but it does not mean that the portfolio with large cap will not do well. There is a happen to that way, because ultimately what matter is the stock that you hold. I can tell you there are many small cap funds which have not performed well. Even though the small cap index has done well. Why? Because ultimately it boils down to what stock you hold. But your point taken, I'll convey this message to Karan, and we will see what best we can do, where we can have very, very aggressive model portfolio, where not less than 50% is allocated to mid and small cap. But I must also tell you that even though it could be right now large cap, dominated large cap, as and when the churn will happen, it will first try to see whether we can accommodate any small cap in that portfolio or not. And if the answer is yes, we'll recommend small cap in the portfolio also. But having said that, we'll definitely put it across, and we'll see what best we can do that. See, another way, if you wish to look at it, you can also look at it. There's a Mojo one has been launched, Usmanji, where we do have some of the stocks from turnaround, reliable and consistent, and which has a good basket from mid and small cap. If you want, you can also try to use that basket to create a portfolio for yourself. The only challenge that will be that there are no exits available there. I agree with you, and that could be the little challenge for you. But that's another way you can look at it. Raghav is asking, will bull run continue in month of December and January? My sense is that I think what we saw really in last couple of days may not get sustained, because कुछ change नहीं हुआ है market में. एक ही change हुआ है कि sentiment improve हो गया है. But then that sentiments are fickle. आज अच्छा है, कल खराब भी हो सकता है. We have made a prediction that the large cap should correct in the month of December. Mid and small cap should continue to do well. January 2024, so what I'll do, Sir Raghavji, I'll make some prediction on 1st January about how do we see the January, because we also need to understand how December has performed, because that will also give us a base to make some kind of understanding about Jan 2024. And I'll also make a prediction about how do we see the market in 2024 and 1st January, or maybe 2nd Jan, depending upon which date is actually. But that's what we will do it. My sense is that large caps should underperform in December, and mid and small caps should continue to perform well. Having said that, please expect some amount of rotation within the large and mid cap. The stock they may have done well, not necessarily they may continue to perform well going forward, and some new leader may can emerge. Nilesh is saying, dear sir, thank you for your consistent guidance and help. After spending 8 years in equity market, my discovered monthly is the bottom of the market is today, top of the market is yet to come. Your comment on this. So I think, Nilesh ji, one thing I always realize that if you apply common sense with patience and with discipline, every day is the bottom of the market. Market has to move up. Why? Because that's what the trend has been there, not only of the Indian equity market, but of the global markets also. And you make very good decent returns. If you apply the three parameters which I said, common sense, patience and discipline, and the fourth element that I want everyone to basically believe and start following is that forced compounding. What is forced compounding is that you allow your assets to grow, give it time. वो हमारे पास क्या है, हम लोग को in this world of a fast food, everything we want very quick. Emma, that's not the way equity market behaves. Equity market will test your patience. It will test your discipline. It will force you to become indisciplined. It will tempt you to become indisciplined. Many times you will do things which is foolish, which is defy the common sense. And that's why the forced compounding is a tool which takes care of all three. In other words, you remain committed to that assets class or that strategy for a longer period of time, and when eventually you will emerge as a winner. Coming to your point, I agree with you. Market will surge many times higher in the years to come, in decades to come, because this is India's growth story. And if India is to do well, there is no reason why Indian equity market should not do well. More money will come, foreign money will come and chase India. More domestic money will come and chase India. Sandeep is saying, when was the PMA started and what is the month-wise return since then? So Sandeep ji, we started our PMA somewhere in July 2023. The data I have as of, because I don't have a data as of November, because that's not been approved by my compliance team, but I do have a data as of 31st October 2023, and that data I can share with you. Just give me 2 minutes because I need to look at the data. So it has done well till now, till 31st October, because I will only talk about the data that I have. I will not be able to talk a data about which I don't have. Kabhi performance, yeah. Just to give an idea. No, this is not the graph. For 1 second. Unfortunately, I'm not getting that PPT as we speak. But we were up by 3-4% in Seoul versus benchmark, which was up by 2%. And in power, we were up by near about 5 or something percent versus benchmark, which is up by 1.18% or something. So that's what the returns are mota. So that's what we have done actually. This one. I don't know why I'm not getting that PPT. Oh, 1 second. I think I'm looking at the wrong file. 1 second. Give me 2 minutes. I'll think if I can show it to you. I'll last time. Otherwise, I'll not be able to. 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. Can you see the returns? Okay. Is my screen visible? 4.3 versus 2.202, that is Sol, and power is 4.76 versus 1.18. So almost 1x, 2x of alpha on Sol and about 3x of power. Okay, that's what it basically is. The only thing, this data is as of 31st October. Rajiv and Mohammed saying that Sunil bhai, don't you think that mid and small caps will run up too much in a short span of time and will underperform for the next few months? We think FI will now start to look at large caps which have a struggle this year. So I agree with partly with your statement, sir. Has the mid and small cap done extremely well? They've run up too fast into this one. I wouldn't like to make that. I don't want to believe that that is a fact. Why I'm saying so? The 2022 was little challenging for the mid and small cap. Now, if you combine last 2 years, see, also is a function of what period you take. Am I right? And then sometimes our decision making becomes little difficult. If you look at last 1 year, what you're saying is right. It has gone up by 34-35% kind of a stuff. Oh, sorry, it's about 40% or something. The moment I take 2 years, the return may not look so, what we call, high. Am I right? So that's where I think the challenge is. As I told you, if I look at 2 years, and since I'm talking with you, just can you show the screen if you don't mind? So I'm just looking at the data. Okay, the small cap in last 2 years up by 45%. Can you see this data? 45%. 1 year is 37%. So, okay. So that means 2 साल का return देखोगे तो on an average it would have given me about 18-19% return. And the mid cap is up by 39.18%, which is again about 15-16%. Is this a too much a return? That this one? Answer is no. India historically has been the mid and small cap market, and it should do well. So yes, there could be corrections, but I think these corrections would be more company specific. As I was mentioning in my opening remark, there could be rotation within the sector, rotation within the company. But overall, mid and small caps should continue to do well. I'll discuss more of that in my equity outlook 2024 about mid and small caps. So I'm not going to discuss that much. Now coming back to your point that FIs are investing and they normally invest in large cap. So if you go back last 10 years, FIs have put in huge amount of money. And yet again, can I just take back to this slide? In last 10 years, while the Nifty has given 234% return or Sensex given 230%, the small cap has given 562% return. 562% return. And let's look at the mid cap, 451% return. In other words, yes, FI are going to put it, but I think we also need to understand the power of retail investors who keep putting money. And in my one of the presentation, I did mention that how SIP inflow, which is coming more into mid and small cap, on an average, we are getting 5,000 crore in 2023 of additional inflow coming from the mutual fund. Purely into mid and small cap schemes. That money is going in. So liquidity will keep these prices up. Second thing, insurance company also collect premium from you. And some of the money that they understand that they need to pay that at the time of claim. Where do they park their funds? They also park that some of the funds in the equity market. And that pie is also increasing. And that will keep the interest in the mid and small cap little. So we are not here for 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, am I right? But in your assets allocation strategy, I think you should keep having higher exposure to mid and small cap. Over a period of 3 to 5 years, I think it should play out extremely well and you will be able to create a lot of alpha as compared to the large cap. So our sense is that mid and small cap will outperform irrespective of what amount of money comes in. In fact, I'll be surprised now that next leg of money that comes in, that money comes from FI, they will focus more on mid and small cap, because they will also see now that there is a chance for us also to create an alpha, and they will percolate down. So they've invested in large cap, then they move down to mid cap to some extent. It's not that they are not investing. Now they will also start exploring in the small cap. And my sense is that they will keep pumping more money into small cap. And once that happens, the small amount of money in FII can create a big alpha on the small cap, which is not possible in large cap. Amrita is asking, with shift in SAV, comment on future of crude oil producing and refining sector. We all know that global warming is a crisis. And Dubai, right now, the discussion is happening about how we can do away with the fossil fuel. My sense is that refining companies will then start producing chemicals and so on and so forth. And crude oil producing companies will need to find this. But having said that, this transition is not going to happen in 1 year or 2 years. At least for next 10, 15 years, at least I am saying, it could be more also, you would need diesel. You would need petrol. Why? Because the existing set of fleet which are there on the road, they will keep running on the diesel and petrol. They are not going to, I understand the new vehicles would be EV. But जो जूना है वो तो उसको तो चाहिए ना. So they will be in the business. But will they command the same kind of respect that we are commanding now? No. But remember, they are still talking about 5-10 years kind of a journey. And till such time, I distinctly recollect someone was saying, this lubricant company, they don't have a future. And we hosted one of our experts from the industry market leader in the lubricant from the private sector. And he has articulated his view very well, actually. So you would need lubricant. The same way, I think, I agree, EV is the future. But should we write off immediately all producing companies, refining companies? Answer is no. I think give some more time. I think they can outperform in a short to medium term. Long term, yes, they will underperform. That is for sure. Mithun is saying, are you revising your target for 20,108 for Nifty for December 2023? The answer is no. If you recollect, I just made a statement that I do expect large cap to correct in December. And the reason I believe that if it has to correct, there is no reason for me to revise my target for Nifty 50. And of course, my sense is that you are revising upward. That's what you mean. So there could be on the contrary, there could be a decline in Nifty 50 in the month of December. And we are maintaining our 20,100 target for Nifty 50. Naveen is saying, Sunil bhai, my journey with Marco is nice and rewarding. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks to your support. Thanks a lot. In one of the webinars, you and Mohit were having candid conversation, and you mentioned that you hold a stock for around 3 years, but in market you don't advise buy and hold strategy. मैं क्या follow करूँ? सर आपको follow वही करना है जो हम आपको बताते हैं. So it's not that we are not holding in our MarketsMojo also stock for more than, I think, one company, Varun Beverages, we've been holding for more than 2 years in our model portfolio also. If you remember in that webinar, I did mention that your reason to exit should get triggered. And if the reason to get triggered, I will exit from that stock. As simple as that. So that's the logic you need to apply on. So and second thing, I understand market little bit. You may not have that kind of same level of a understanding. And hence, my advice would be, sir, follow our advice, what we give you. Don't look at the holding period. If you are asking you to exit, please exit irrespective of what the holding period is. Because ultimately we want to create a wealth from the equity. And that wealth can always be created once you remove your human bias. अरे ये होल्डिंग अभी मैंने लिया, अभी बेच क्यों दो, 1 महीने में, 2 महीने में, 3 महीने में, 4 महीने, 6 महीने में, why should I book losses? And this kind of stuff, or no, this group has done extremely well, why should I get, उस पर तो अभी बहुत जान और बाकी है, why should I exit? That kind of stuff should not happen. Please follow on a disciplined manner and you should be fine, sir. Mojo stocks in portfolio not doing well in increasing markets since 2-3 days. Really, is there anything wrong? What to? Komal ji, I think एक दो दिन मार्केट में स्टॉक नहीं चले and that's why you should be worried. I'm little surprised with this. There could be, see, not all stocks move in a linear fashion. Some stocks move and some stocks doesn't move. But I think because market में डेली यार मेरे जो मोजो स्टॉक लिया वो नहीं चला एक दो दिन में, I think that's not the way you should look at it. That's not the right way. Should you be worried? Nothing. Answer is no. Sam Sundar is saying you provide a very good portfolio analysis for report personal. Is it possible to provide a similar report on our model portfolios? Sir, the reason why the model portfolio is ticking all the checkbox, am I right? And hence, and it's been monitored by us. And hence, you don't need that checklist, the analysis on that report. In personal portfolio where you bought on your own, and that's where that analysis is very, very critical. In model portfolio, that need is not there because everything has been monitored by us. We are telling you which company to buy, how much to buy, when to exit, when we advise you exit, which new script to get into. We do look at your number of stocks in the portfolio. We look at liquidity. We look at market cap allocation. Everything has been taken care of. So it's already been done. So the analysis has already been done on your portfolio. That it ticks all the parameters. That's why it's a model portfolio. पर पर्सनल पोर्टफोलियो वो होता नहीं, इसके लिए हम आपको देते हैं. वहाँ पे जरूरत नहीं मॉडल पोर्टफोलियो देने की. सो आई डोंट थिंक एनी रीजन व्हाई वी शुड बी, बिकॉज़ इट्स ऑलरेडी बीन टेकन केयर. SS Bhatia sir is saying how international liquidity will be affecting Indian markets. See, if there is an outflow from the FIIs, there will be some impact. I'm not disputing on that. But the impact would be minimal. But if there is an inflow, it can have a, double engine बोलते हैं ना जो होगा. Why? Because retail investors are anyway buying. On the top of institutional investors come in, वो एक और एक 11 नहीं, एक और एक 2 नहीं बनते, 11 बनते. That kind of effect we can see on the Indian market. So my sense is that if there is an outflow, impact is negative, but there is a positive inflow, impact is very, very positive. Thomas is asking, why is gold price shooting up? Sir, we have been kept saying in this webinar time and again, there has been seems to be some shift happening even with the central banks across the world where they want to put more reserves in gold. Number one. Number two, when the rate of interest goes down, or there is an expectation of rate of interest going down, that makes gold attractive. Why? Because treasury yield rate of interest. Gold doesn't yield any interest. So when it goes up, it's negative for gold. But when it goes down, interest it comes down, it's positive for gold. So that's one. I again keep saying that you should not invest in gold or silver because you have a view on that gold or silver. It should be more of an assets allocation strategy. Can I put my 10 to 15% of my portfolio into gold and silver? And that's the strategy that you should assets because it will give a lot of comfort. It will reduce the volatility of your overall portfolio. That's how you should look at it. Having said that, I do believe gold will move up. And of course, in my equity presentation of Outlook 2024, I'll also cover my outlook on the gold. So don't worry about that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share one email ID to all of you, where you can mention what all you want me to cover in my equity outlook 2024. Please don't send any right now your suggestion. I'll give you one specific email ID. Why? Because if you write to any other email ID, that email ID will not reach to me, and I don't bother to look at those emails also. I'll give you a very specific email ID which I'm going to create now. It's not there right now. You please write to that email ID and tell us what you want us to cover in our equity outlook 2024. If you want us to cover how much FI is going to invest. If you remember, we did that analysis also last year. Whether mid and small cap will outperform or not. Whether gold will do well or not. Everything we'll try to cover in that presentation. So I'll share one email ID, maybe next time I'll come in front of you and we'll discuss that. Subhadip is asking, explain detail once, what is the advantage doing the PMS versus, say, high performing mid and small cap funds? Sir, you should always take my comments with a pinch of salt. Why? Because I have a vested interest to say. Okay. But having said that, if you look at the small and mid cap mutual fund performance versus some of the well managed PMS funds, you would have observed that PMS would have given you higher returns. Reason is very simple. PMS normally gives higher returns. I'm saying for the industry, not for myself. Why PMS will give? Because it's a concentrated bet. You invest in a company which is a concentrated. Number one, since PMS fund is little limited, it helps you to invest even in this company where liquidity is not so great, which is not possible in mutual funds. Why? Because mutual fund का मैंने थोड़े बहुत तो small cap and mid cap funds are running into 10,000 crore AUM. वहाँ पे आपको कोई कंपनी को लेना भी होगा तो you have to buy substantial stake, am I right, to move the needle. तो उसके बास्केट में आती ही नहीं है, because it's not going to move the needle. Why should I get into? Number 3, in PMS, you will see that your performance in a more accurate manner. Normally म्यूचुअल फंड में क्या होता है, आपने ले लिया, भूल गए, पता भी नहीं आपको क्या रिटर्न्स है. If I have to ask today's audience, they would definitely know what is the performance of the PMS. They will not know the performance of the mutual fund. कितना आया है किसी को पता नहीं होगा, किसी को हवा भी नहीं होगी उसकी. So that helps you to understand where the money is coming from. So normally PMS, logically, that's the reason it's more of a boutique service. It's more of a personalized service. And that should always give you, or logically it should give you higher returns as compared to mid and small cap funds. Another problem happened with the mid and small cap, that which scheme you are getting. Amir, just message me, let me see what best we can do. Rav is asking, can you please name sector or stock range without reason? No, sir, I will not be able to. Because what would happen, you'll take some action based on that. Which, there is nothing called perfect science. And that's why I really like this gentleman who wrote the Timing the Cycle or something. I'm forgetting the name of the book. Octica, Mark Howard. And he says that, a stock price is like a pendulum. क्लॉक का पेंडुलम होता है ना, जो ऐसे ऐसे चलता रहता है. वो जरूरी नहीं है कि वो यहाँ पे जाके वापस आ जाएगा. समटाइम इट कैन रिमेन देयर फॉर अ लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम एंड देन बेसिकली स्टार्ट कमिंग डाउन. सो मुझे वो नहीं मालूम है कि वो फर्दर कितना राइज होके फिर नीचे गिरेगा. एंड दैट कुड क्रिएट अ फ्रस्ट्रेशन फॉर यू पीपल. और फिर आप किसी को शॉर्ट सेल कर लोगे तो नुकसान हो सकता है, बिकॉज आपके पास तो है नहीं वो स्टॉक. तो करोगे क्या फिर आप? So I'm afraid I will not be able to give you that detail. The recency was part of model, still it made me to sell it before the summer begins in 2000. This was connected but forwarded followed by a sell call. Sir, can you say that this is still in the model photo? Was it a tech glitch? No, Dharmendra ji. So what happens, Varun ji, we do have a active profit booking, and that could have triggered in your portfolio. So if you remember, Varun Bridge is also part of our stock of the month. If you go to our stock of the month section, just can you see my screen? And let me go to the Varun. Varun, I think we recovered in 2021. So, if you look at it, it's still open. It's up by 256%. In October 2021, we recovered a stock of the month. It's still on, 257%. So, we are not exited. So, to answer, yes, we are not exited. At the same time, your question was that, is it a glitch? Answer is no, because we would have done profit booking in your case. And that's why we would have exited. Praveen is asking, how do you manage downside protection in your PMS portfolio in high volatile market? So, sir, see, let me tell you, whatever best practice we do, there will be downside in the portfolio. So there is no dispute on that front. Okay, there is no kind of I don't want to give you a wrong picture there. How do we manage the downside? We look at the company that we are holding in the portfolio. We look at, is there a reason to exit from that company? For example, some companies may have come down. We look at whether should we exit from that company or not. We look at the risk reward, and if you remember, some of you people had asked me about the paper stocks. And at that point of time, it was gone down substantially. And we did mention that risk reward continuously, if there is reward, the countries remain in the favor of reward. So there is no reason to exit from that stock. So that's the way we look at the downside risk. But having said that, there is nothing called a perfect formula. We look at company that we are holding in the portfolio. We look at how much allocations we have done to that particular company. In case if we believe that our allocation seems to have gone up and the volume has come down, we start reducing the position just to ensure that we don't run into risk of a impact cost. And this is the way we basically ensure, but we'll closely monitor the stocks we are holding in the portfolio. I think that's what we keep looking at very, very rigorously. That's the best way you can reduce the downside. Having said that, there will be a downside. Let me be honest with you. Santanu is asking, I have two questions about Mojo 1 stocks. Will the model photo include stocks from Mojo 1 if they are not Mojo stock? We are evaluating that things, whether we can form a part of the model portfolio or not. Some of the strategy of Mojo 1. It's a work in progress, whether it will happen, not happen, because we don't do anything without we do back testing. So once we do the back testing, we'll come back and we'll tell you whether we will do it or not. Right now, it's a work in progress. And do you evaluate corporate governance for Mojo 1 stocks like you do for Mojo stocks? Answer is no, sir. We don't do that, to be honest with you, because it's completely driven by the system. And that's where we don't do any corporate governance audit there the way we do for Mojo stock. Bharat is saying, what is a risk-on strategy and what is a drawdown? Okay, what is risk-on strategy? There are two kinds of strategy, risk-on and risk-off. What is risk-on strategy? That means you are willing to take more risk. That means you are willing to go to the assets class which are more volatile. That is called risk-on strategy. Risk-off strategy that you want to play safe. You will invest in those sectors which are more stable. You would want to take out some money from the equity market and put in a fixed income instruments because आपको ज़्यादा risk नहीं लेना है. That is called risk off. वो switch on और off होता है ना. Risk on हो गया मतलब आपको risk लेना चालू हो गया, light on हो गई. Risk off मतलब अपना risk लेना कम करे. That means you will go to more safer assets. Where is risk off? Risk on way, you will go to the more riskier assets because you want to take a risk now. So that's a risk on and risk off. What is drawdown? After portfolio moving up, how much it has gone down before it start moving up. So the gap between up and down, that is the drawdown in the portfolio. Lesser the drawdown, better it is. Higher the drawdown, it is not good. Himadri is saying there are a lot of global issues going on in based on current. I am planning to avoid any new investment. Rather, I would keep cash on my hand and may post-election will start buying. Can you suggest if I'm doing the right thing or I'm missing the bus? Himadri ji, you are just trying to time the market, and unfortunately, I could not time the market, and I'm not very sure you would be able to do that. Assume that what you are saying is right, that market comes down. I'm making an assumption, okay? Will you have a guts to invest when the market sentiments are down? The answer is no. How many of you would have invested on 12th September when the market went down? Or in the month of October when the market went down? Nahi hota, because that time the fear factor will not allow you to invest. And then the bottom would be formed. You'll keep waiting for the corrections to happen. वो corrections होगा नहीं. Or you will always remain outside the market. My request would be as follows. Do not try to time the market. Please start putting money. If you think that market is going to go down, there is a way we can handle it, am I right? Assume that you want to invest 1 lakh rupee. I'm just giving an example. 5 महीना बाकी election को. I'll say I'll invest 20,000 now. Next month again I'll invest 20,000. उसके बाद 20,000 this way. And this is the way I'll invest 1 lakh. But that 20,000 you'll invest in the market irrespective of market sentiment, because वहाँ पे discipline जरूरी है आपको. तब आप ये नहीं देखोगे कि मार्केट नीचे जाएगा कि ऊपर जाएगा. बोला मुझे 20,000 इन्वेस्ट करना है, मैंने कर लिया. And that is the way you should do that. I think you should pay off very well for you. I know you will have more questions, already 8. I don't want to hold you back from your dinner, spending some good quality time with your family. So thanks a lot everyone taking time out. Just to summarize, market can correct. Why? Because especially large cap. Rally seems to be in last 2 days what we have seen. And even if you look at today also, even though the market looks green, you look at the advanced decline ratio, it was negative. And many of you would have seen your portfolio in negative also, even though the market is green, purely because of advanced decline ratio. So, anyway, we are not here for 1 day, 1 month or so. We are here for long term, and we do believe that long-term market outlook is extremely promising. We do believe that mid and small caps should outperform significantly to the large cap. With this, thanks a lot taking time out and attending this webinar. Thanks a lot, Amil, for hosting this webinar. Over to you.